Okay, imagine this. A huge social media company, one that's had a pretty bumpy ride since its IPO, dealing with market ups and downs.
Right.
And then, bam, they drop a financial report that just gets everyone in tech talking.
Yeah, that's definitely Reddit right now. Their Q2 2025 results really made some waves.
Exactly. So today we're going to do a real deep dive into Reddit's latest numbers. We've got sources that give a really full picture, looking at their financials, sure, but also user growth.
And all the stuff underneath, right? The successes, but also the challenges that haven't gone away.
Precisely. Our mission here is simple. Pull out the most crucial bits of info, the key insights from all this material just for you. We want to unpack what really drove this standout quarter, their most profitable yet.
And also look at the hurdles they're still facing. It's quite the balancing act.
It really is.
And I think, understanding Reddit's story here gives you a fantastic window into how these big digital platforms work, how they juggle growing fast, keeping users happy, and dealing with, well, Wall Street's expectations. It tells you a lot about the tech world today.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. The headline news. Reddit's Q2 2025. They're calling it their most profitable quarter to date since the IPO. This is where it gets really interesting.
Definitely the big takeaway.
And the core numbers back it up. GAAP revenue, that's the standard accounting figure, hit $500 million.
Which is a massive jump.
78% year-over-year gain. And it smashed the estimates. Analysts were expecting around $425.7 million, so Reddit beat that by over 17%. That's significant.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But maybe even more striking is the shift to actual profit. Net income. They posted $89 million.
Wow.
That works out to €0.45 per share. Now, compare that to this time last year, Q2 2024.
They lost money then, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A $6 million loss, so minus 6 cents per share. So this quarter we're talking about is their first profitable quarter as a public company.
That's a huge milestone.
It absolutely is. It tackles those longer-term worries people had about whether they could ever stop losing money.
And investors, they clearly noticed.
Oh, absolutely. The stock jumped, what, 13 to 17% after hours?
Yeah, something like that. Shows real enthusiasm, at least initially.
Definitely a positive reaction.
So let's dig in. What was behind this huge revenue jump and, crucially, the profit? The sources point to things like AI-powered ads and getting better at making money from all that community content.
Yeah, those seem to be the key drivers.
Mm-hmm.
The AI part is interesting. It's not just about targeting ads better, which, everyone tries to do.
Right.
It sounds like they're using AI to place ads more smartly within the conversations, within the subreddits. So if you're reading a thread about, fixing a bike.
You might see an ad for bike parts right there.
Exactly. More relevant, less like a random banner ad. It feels more integrated, which usually means better performance and maybe less annoying for users.
Makes sense. And it wasn't just revenue tech. The user side looks strong, too. Daily active users, DAUs, up 21% compared to last year.
Which brings them to 110.4 million daily users.
Yeah.
That's solid growth.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. You connect that user growth with how much money they make per user. That metric, ARPU, average revenue per user,
That jumped, too.
jumped 47% globally.
Yeah.
So it's not just more people using Reddit, it's that Reddit's getting much, much better at monetizing the users they have. That's a powerful combination.
And are they growing everywhere or just in, say, North America?
No, the international growth was really strong too, up 32% in terms of usage.
Okay, that's important.
It really is. It helps them diversify away from relying too heavily just on the U.S. and Canadian ad markets. Spreading their bets, basically. It's a smart strategic play for the long run.
And looking ahead, the company sounds pretty optimistic. Their own forecast for Q3 revenue is, what, $535 to $545 million?
Yeah, and adjusted EBITDA between $185 and $195 million.
And how does that stack up against what analysts were thinking?
Both those numbers are comfortably above what the analysts had penciled in. They were thinking more like $473 million for revenue. So Reddit's basically signaling, hey, we think this momentum continues.
Which sounds great, but...
But can they keep it up? That's always the question with this kind of rapid acceleration, isn't it? Sustaining that pace is tough.
Right. Which brings us to the potential downsides. Despite this sunny Q2, are there clouds on the horizon? What's the bad in this picture?
Well, yeah, there are definitely things to watch. One big one is how much they still rely on Google.
For traffic.
For traffic, yeah, especially getting new users.
Yeah.
They have that partnership using Google's Vertex AI from 2024, and it drives a lot of referrals.
So the risk is if Google changes something.
Exactly. If Google tweaks its search algorithm or changes its partnership terms, that could hit Reddit's user growth and maybe even how much they can charge for ads. Analysts are definitely keeping an eye on that dependency.
And related to search, you mentioned they're building their own tools.
They are, yeah. Their main search bar gets used quite a bit, like 70 million weekly users, which sounds good.
Right.
But their newer AI search thing, Reddit Answers, only has about 6 million users so far.
Quite a gap.
It really highlights how hard it is to change people's habits. Getting users to switch from Google or their usual search routine to a new tool, even an innovative one on a platform they use, it takes time. It's an uphill climb.
Okay, what else? Any other vulnerabilities?
Well, there's advertiser concentration. A big chunk of their ad money still comes from just a few large companies, mostly in tech and consumer goods.
So if one of those big spenders pulls back.
Exactly. If there's an economic downturn and big brands cut their ad budgets, Reddit could feel it more sharply than platforms with a wider range of advertisers. It's a concentration risk.
And they're not alone in this space, obviously.
Not at all. You've got the giants like Meta and Snap, plus all these new AI-focused content platforms popping up. They're all fighting for the same user attention and the same advertising dollars.
Which means Reddit has to keep innovating.
Constantly. And that costs money. R&D, marketing. It could put pressure on those profit margins they just managed to achieve. It's a competitive battlefield.
Okay, so dependencies, adoption gaps, concentration, competition.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the ugly, the really tough, maybe systemic challenges.
Right. And one big one is content moderation. It's always been tricky for Reddit, given the nature of the platform.
And it's getting more complex.
It seems so. As they grow internationally and add features, keeping content safe and compliant is a huge, expensive job. It's legally risky. It needs a lot of people.
And those costs are rising.
Yeah, compliance and staffing costs are going up, and that could definitely eat into their newfound profitability. A cost of doing business, but it's a growing one.
And regulations in general, not just moderation. Privacy rules, AI rules.
Absolutely. Things like GDPR in Europe, or potential new rules around AI. These could force Reddit to spend a lot more on legal stuff and technical systems to comply.
Which again hits the bottom line.
Directly impacts those adjusted EBITDA margins, yeah. It's just the reality of operating a big platform in today's world. Regulation isn't cheap.
Another point, the stock itself, RDDT. You said it jumped after the results, but generally?
Generally, it's been pretty volatile. Even before this good quarter, it was actually down a bit for the year. And it can swing pretty wildly based on just general tech sector news.
How does that volatility affect Reddit itself?
Well, it makes things like raising more money potentially trickier or more expensive. And it can make long-term investors a bit nervous if the stock price is bouncing around all the time. It just adds a layer of uncertainty.
Okay, and one last really crucial point. This tension between making money and keeping users happy.
Ah, yes, the classic platform dilemma.
The sources mentioned some users aren't thrilled about seeing more ads, more sponsored posts. Is that a serious risk?
It can be.
Yeah.
If users feel the experience is degrading, if it feels too commercial, they might use the platform less or complain loudly.
Which hurts engagement.
Which hurts the very engagement metrics that drive growth and attract advertisers in the first place. It's a super delicate balance. Push too hard on monetization, alienate your core users. That's how platforms get into trouble. Reddit's walking that tightrope right now.
So let's try and pull this all together then. The main story from Q2 is definitely this impressive turnaround. Reddit went from, worrying about traffic to posting its most profitable quarter ever.
Right, fueled by those AI ad improvements and solid user growth. The numbers look genuinely good.
Right.
But as we've unpacked, there are still significant challenges lurking. That Google dependency is real. Getting users to adopt new search features is slow going. The advertiser base needs broadening.
And those rising costs for moderation and compliance aren't going away, plus the whole user experience balancing act.
Exactly. So looking forward, if Reddit wants to keep this growth story going, they really need to tackle those things. Diversify traffic, make money smartly without annoying people, and handle the competition and the regulators.
A lot to juggle.
Definitely. Investors, observers, anyone interested really needs to weigh both the impressive progress and these ongoing risks as Reddit tries to navigate its next chapter.
So, stepping back from the numbers for a second, What does this all mean for you listening to this, maybe as a Reddit user yourself?
Well, beyond Reddit specifically, I think their story just perfectly highlights this fundamental tension,
Right.
right? The constant push-pull between making money for the business and keeping the online community healthy and engaged.
Yeah.
It makes you think, how are the other platforms you use managing that? Your Instagram feed, TikTok, even news websites. Where do you see that balance playing out? Or maybe where do you see it tipping too far one way or the other?
That's definitely something to chew on as you're scrolling through your own digital world today.